I didn't know you could hear that. Hold on. Okay, is this better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Nindo shumwana oyo tatwishiba okwafuma
apa nomba kiri kuliiwe nomba okusalapo kuba embushi ate mukuba endoshi.
How I experience a lack of power a lot is by being a woman. So that's how I experience it. So this is the way I kind of illustrated it. But I was influenced by lots of things, and I was studying a lot to do with like how people repress other people, and how I found it absurd how easy it is that we can become repressed, and how difficult it is to kind of even if, however absurd it is, these rules are imposed on whoever's oppressing you, how difficult it is to break away from them, even if they're really absurd. So I found that really interesting. And I think the older I get, the more I realize what it is to be a woman in society. It's really strange because I grew up with no limits. And the older I get, I realize there are limits, and this frustrates me. And I think this was my way of kind of venting my frustration, and I made it channeling into a film.
Nga wasala okuba embushi wala kutula entambo. Lero nga wasala okuba endoshi otwala kusanga n'entambo yobe. Ekyemuli endoshi lumu.
So you can practice good witchcraft. So witch doctor, you can even get a license to be a witch doctor. I think you need a license to practice as a witch doctor. So we believe already in spirituality and all these things. The fear is that people practice witchcraft. Christianity has always been our version of Christianity, like every other African nation, like Haiti, like Southern American countries. When I did my research, I don't know, I didn't really believe in people practicing witchcraft. I thought it was sort of made up. So they believe these witches have these ornaments that they use to do their witchcraft. And I remember a chief was showing me these ornaments, and I was shocked because they were so intricate. But it really was something very intricate. It had like intricate beads, thorns. It had like blood in a vessel. So I thought, okay, someone made this for something, to cause harm. So yeah, it made me kind of think differently. The whole of Africa, but Zambia is made up mostly of rural Zambia. The urban is like a 0 point something percent. And I only realized this because I'm a Lusaka girl. I was born in Lusaka. And I'm like, I don't know anything beyond Lusaka. And then when you just drive a little bit, you're just like, my God, this is the rest of the country. I'm completely clueless. We have malls, we have everything, and we're completely isolated, I think. We live in like cuckoo land. So Lusaka has all the, cities that you can, find in anywhere. But once you leave, you realize most of the part of the country is made up of something else. And they live by different rules than we do in the city. So like their laws, for example, you can't accuse someone of witchcraft. You can't. You can't, it's illegal to do that. But when you leave places where they can enforce it effectively, so there's law of the land and there's the traditional law, which is run by chiefs. So what happens is dictated by chiefs. So you get different versions of Zambians. You're like, oh my God, you're my people, but we're completely different. We have a different way of thinking and practicing, and it's strange. So I think I can only speak for Zambia, but Zambia is particularly a country that I think is one of the countries that I think are the least developed. The more north you get, like even in Ghana, for me to really go and see how they believe in witchcraft and see the camps, traveled north, like 12 hours. And then Zambia was the same. I went to Luapula, total, like it's the Silicon Valley of witchcraft belief. It's like, San Francisco. It's like you go north, and somehow that's where you get really a big, for them it's undoubted, and a lot of the society is made up of this. It's run by this. So I met a chief who got into power because he found witches. He was a witch finder too. So everyone loves him, and he became very popular, and that's how he got his chiefdom. I wanted to really construct something that was more Zambian than it was kind of European. That was really difficult to do because I realized even the way we make music is a bit different. And the way we tell our stories, like our fairy tales. So I was trying to structure it like a fairy tale and like music somehow. And our fairy tales are different. They mix genre, they're genreless. They don't have a POV. They swap. They feel like they're going nowhere, and then they go into a different direction, and they're very unpredictable. They use a lot of musicality. So I was trying to find something that kind of illustrated that structure of telling a story. And I spent more time doing that than... So it's not my film is not about a character study. It's not like, oh, it's a character and this happens. It's about trying to shape something into the lens of kind of a Zambian way of doing it. And I was much more interested, I mean, if we're talking about cinema, that's why I was more interested in doing that structure than anything else. So I was just trying to tell a story as Zambian as I could get it without like frustrating people too much or making them too confused. The stories are really brave, and if I'd been brave and more rock and roll, it would have been more different. But I still kind of, my European side was like, yeah, but this has to be logical. It doesn't make sense. So, I wish I'd been a bit more rock and roll.
What's happening? Hey! Get her! Elders, please. Your Royal Highness. Utivuta iwe mwana mngono so utivuta iwe mwana mwana mngono utivuta utivuta iwe mwana mngono utivuta mwana mngono utivuta mwana mngono no hey look at her go keep going run mama run.
I didn't want it to be chains, because I thought chains imply like you're imprisoned, and part of the problem is like you almost imprison yourself. You're complicit in this idea and this belief. So I wanted to have some kind of visual representation of this this idea. So like in real life, what they do to control the women that are accused of witchcraft, they paint a border, like a white border sometimes, and they say if you go beyond this border, you will die. And if you fly beyond this border, you die. So they use it to control the women and to control them, to stop them from flying, and also to stop them from like escaping. If it's a stone, you can go. If someone paints a border, you can. If you don't believe in it, you just walk over the border and run, and go back home. But in this case, the women also have to take part in their own imprisonment. They have to believe it too, So I found that interesting, this dynamic. So I use the ribbons to kind of represent that. It's something psychological as well as, physical. Oh, I found children easy, and she was easy. The hard thing is casting them. That's the hard thing. You can't just work with any kids. I'm not that talented. You have to look and find the kid. So we looked through like nearly 1,000 children. That's how I got Maggie. And she's smart. I don't have to tell her much. And I knew it when I was auditioning. I didn't have to give her instructions 5 times. And I work in a way that I give the actors a lot of freedom. So you have to be quite quick and think on your feet. So I would just ask her, I'll just give her the scenario and say, okay, if you're accused of being a witch and you're taken to a police station, how do you feel? And she goes, oh, I feel scared. I said, okay, so act scared. And she's like, okay. And that was it. We said action. have to say. It was just a nightmare. I had this idea, like, oh, I'm going to get different women. They're all older, and I want them to come from different tribes, not just my tribe. And so I got women from, there were Lozi, Nyanja, Bemba, because I'm Bemba. So then, of course, when you come on set, you have to communicate with these people. And I didn't realize how difficult it would be, because you'd say, because I could only say in Bemba, so I'd say in Bemba, then you have about 5 directors. So they go, oh no, I'll tell her what you mean. So they're saying, and then they add something else, and then you go action, and everyone's doing something that you didn't ask them to do. And so what happened? Cut, what happened? Yeah, she told me I have to jump up, and she told me I have to do this. And you're like, no. So it was really chaotic, and there was 32 women, all speaking different languages. So we had like 5 interpreters. And also the interpreters would add their own direction too. So I would say, don't add, just say exactly what I'm about to say. And they would have their own spin. So it was really difficult to control what I wanted. It was hard. It was romantic. I had this romantic idea that would be amazing and everyone would love me because I included everyone. And then on set, you're just like, this couldn't be worse. This is horrible. But we got a routine. We got, week 3, we started getting some kind of momentum. So it was okay. I tell you what, that was also another nightmare. And you can see I had like 500 editors on the film because it was really hard to do it. The first edit we had, it was one of the hardest things. I thought, I was looking forward to editing actually after I finished because the shoot was a nightmare. And I thought, okay, now I can edit and everything's under control. But it was really, really difficult because getting the tone was really hard on everyone because it took me a while to find it also. So I work freely. I like the editor to do it and then I watch it. But in the end, I was there all the time. Like everything is clicking. I'm like, click, 2 seconds. And I hate doing that. I hate to be on top. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of difficult choices. It was 2 hours for a long time, the film. And then it got to about 90 minutes and it started getting the shape that we wanted. But we went through many, many versions. But we got there in the end. And I'm happy with the results.
Yes, these are new ribbons, long ribbons. Now you are free to go kilometers and kilometers.
So the nice thing about David, which was amazing, he was the only cinematographer that said he didn't know what the language would be. And I thought that's beautiful because he doesn't. He's never been to Zambia. He doesn't know anything about my culture. He doesn't know what I'm trying to say. He didn't know. He said, I can't. So we have to discover together. And I thought that was beautiful, and we did. And what we did was simplify. We both love simple aesthetics. So I wanted it to read like a storybook. So the image would be very clear, like clear. If you didn't understand what was happening, it would be clear. And we didn't want to waste any shots. And we were really like, we had very small shot lists. We didn't change the camera unless it had to be changed. We're both the same, similar. And we broke down each scene, what it was saying and who we needed to point the camera to. And we were very like, we didn't lose on that. So everyone was saying, oh, you have to do more coverage. I said, no. I didn't think I'd get the money from Europe. I thought Europe would be the last people to give me money, actually. I borrowed money from parents and family, and that's how I'd shoot my film. But then I applied. I applied to Britain, I applied to France, and I got the money. So I wasn't going to say no. Say yes, give me the money. I want to shoot my film. Yeah, no, you can't get, it's a shame. We don't even have a film school in Zambia. That's the thing. I think we're the extreme of like African countries. If I was in South Africa, I wouldn't need to bring European money. I wouldn't necessarily need to bring European crew, you know. They have the infrastructure, they have film schools, they have technicians, they have everything. I get to go back to Europe, you know, I live between the two worlds. I have people who live here and have to work here and have to fight more than I do. I feel frustrated when I'm here, but they have more frustrations and they have to maneuver this every day. Artists of different types, writers, poets, all of them just do it themselves. They're all autodidacts. finance or they get through an international funding organization. They all have to hustle and trying to get, and they fought way more than I do. What my film did was it got recognized when it went in Cannes. Thank God for those pictures in the red carpet, because Cannes didn't quite register, but when they saw the pictures of us like posing, then everyone got excited, and then the president said that they're going to have some kind of mandate for film. Like it's the first time they're recognizing that film is something to be considered, whether that's in the government speeches, things like that. Whether that means allocating a budget is something else. That's another step.